Hello everyone, Ward Cameron here from ExplorePodcasting.com, the podcast designed to help teach you how to launch your first podcast. In this episode, I am actually uploading my very first media file. Now, one of the first things I learned as I began to research launching my first website or my first podcast was that it's really important not to use your web host to store your media files. Even if your web host has unlimited storage, it probably doesn't have unlimited server cycles. And what that means is if all of a sudden you get a huge amount of attention and suddenly thousands of people are downloading your podcast, you could be hit with a huge bill at the end of the month, or in some cases, your web host may just kick you off their servers. That's why sites like Liberated Syndication are so important. Liberated Syndication can be found at libsyn.com, libsyn.com. And what they specialize in is hosting media files. I don't host my blog here. I don't run my RSS feed through Libsyn. You can do those things. For me, I use it as a place to host my media files. And the nice thing about Libsyn is it has unmetered server cycles. And what that means is no matter how many people come to download my media, I'm only going to pay the same $7 a month in the plan that I have signed up for. They do have different plans based on how much media you actually need to upload. In this case, I'm going to upload my very first episode of Explore Podcasting. So here we go. I'll click on Media Files. And I don't have any current media. Current media on Libsyn, you have a monthly allotment of server space. In my plan, I have 50 megabytes a month, and I can upload as many files as will fit within that allotment. Now, once I upload the files, they will live in that current media for a month. And the current media means that it's sitting on their highest speed servers. So for the first month after I launch an episode, which presumably is when the most activity will be happening on that file, it will serve much more quickly. After a month, it'll be moved into the archive media. It's still a reasonably fast set of servers, but what it does is it takes them out of their high-speed servers and moves them back onto the archive servers, which will just serve that media just a little bit more slowly. But since I don't have any files at the moment, I'm going to click the Upload a File button. And we've all seen this in different programs. That brings up the Browse button. There I have episode 001 of Explore Podcasting. And then I will click Open. And now here we go. Upload files. And it's just going to work through the process of uploading that 16 megabyte episode number 1. The nice thing about going with some of these other services is it just takes the risk out of suddenly having a successful podcast, doing all of the work, and then getting a huge bill when, if you're really lucky, somebody like Oprah mentions your program, and all of a sudden you get just massive amounts of traffic. The other thing to keep in mind for those of you that are thinking, well, I'm not going to get a lot of traffic, and I've got a fair bit of space on my server. One of the things I have done as I started to explore podcasting was when I found an episode or found a program that I liked, one of the first things I will do in iTunes is download the entire back catalog of that podcast. In one case, a podcast that I listened to, I've downloaded somewhere in the neighborhood of 140 or 150 episodes. And that was all at one time, all hitting the servers to download those episodes. If all of a sudden I got media coverage, I had 200 episodes, and a few thousand people start downloading that entire catalog, this is where you start to run into trouble. And that's where something like Liberated Syndication can save you a lot of hassles, even though it is one additional step in your podcast program. And we're almost done here at 65%. The way I am going to be running this podcast is I'm running the blog on bluehost.com using WordPress. And there'll be lots of video tutorials on some of the many challenges of learning WordPress. Then I'll store the media files here on Libsyn, and then I will use a FeedBurner feed in order to actually control the RSS feed, and then serve it all up through places like iTunes so that people can download it with just a one-click convenience. And here we are, 92%. Here it is, just finishing up the uploading of that file. And there we go now under current media. I've got episode 001, an introduction, and I can see right now they've had to rename the file with some underscores. So I'll keep that in mind whenever I'm naming files now to make sure that I don't leave any spaces in the name. And it's now there, and I'll just leave that, and we're ready to go. So that is just a quick video tutorial on how to upload your media file to Libsyn. This is Ward Cameron with ExplorePodcasting. I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.